What's up? It's Kris and Kris. We're back. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about the best WWE tag teams of all time. Now, tag team are not just one, but two. It could be three people. And they all fight for one goal, to win the match. Now, these teams we're about to list tonight are going to be some of the best that WWE has to offer. Some of them are in NXT, but that's still under the WWE window. Umbrella. It's under the umbrella. So let's kick it off by talking about one of the best tag teams of all time. Edge and Christian. Get away, Kris.
Edge and Christian, what more needs to be said? It's really, if you look at tag team wrestling in the Attitude Era, there's about 4 teams that really come to mind. But the first thing that really comes to people's mind, 99.9% of the time, will be Edge and Christian. When you talk about innovators, when you talk about ring work, when you talk about character development, when you talk about being able to play both heel and face, even though they were way better as heels, hilarious. They set the bar. I would go as far as to say that they are the best that WWE has to offer. They're number one on my list.
Back in that era, they were probably the best. They always won every title. They won how many titles they win? Like
7 or 8.
It was 7 or 8. They were playing hot potato with the championship back then, but it was good hot potato. It wasn't like they were just giving the title to anybody.
Right, they were like,
Right.
Hold on.
There you go. Yeah, Edge and Christian. That's our first team. We also have the Hardys, Matt and Jeff from the Attitude Era. They were a pretty good team.
Also innovators. And once again, for anybody who may not be as familiar with why these two teams or where these two teams really where they really got over, that can be easily fixed. Go on the WWE network for only $9.99. Again, $9.99, and one more time for the people in the back, $9.99.
$9.99.
And watch No Mercy, the ladder match between Edge and Christian and the Hardys, even though at that time they were known as the New Brood, led by Gangrel, in the Terry Invitational final in a ladder match. Just watch the match. Just watch it. By far the match of the night. I don't remember what the main event was. That's how good that match was. I don't remember the main event. I don't know.
Right. It was a pretty good match. That stole the show that night.
Without question.
And with no question. And both of them had amazing singles careers. Actually, all 4 of the people that we just listed had amazing singles careers. Edge, Christian, Matt, and Jeff. Yeah. Matt more so than, AEW and, TNA. But
everybody with the exception of this is no like sour cookies to like ECW, but Edge obviously multi-time WWE and World Heavyweight Champion. Jeff Hardy obviously a multi-time World Heavyweight Champion and former WWE Champion. Christian, a former 2-time, I believe, World Heavyweight Champion. But Matt Hardy is a former ECW champion, but let's be honest. Let's keep
him in there. Let's keep him in there. The world technically.
A world championship, yeah, but when you put like the ECW championship versus the WWE or the World Heavyweight Championship, unless you actually have feuds that go year round and not little feuds that are rushed because, oh, wait a minute, WrestleMania is coming along. We got to have all 3 main championships defended. So, hey, let's just put a 20-second ECW match on WrestleMania just so we can get them some shine. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
No. We ain't gonna talk about that.
So yeah, Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys. What about the Hart Foundation?
Arguably the most technical, like as far as like the mastery of technical wrestling, for sure the best at their time, for sure. Now, obviously, Bret the Hitman Hart goes off has a Hall of Fame worthy career. Obviously, Jimmy Anvil Neidhart, yeah, he still stuck around in WWE at least up until around '97 after it happened, and I mean, clearly we all know about what it was if we're talking about 1997. And if you don't, that can be easily fixed by by going to the WWE number for only $9.99. Once again, $9.99 per month. But yeah, great for their time, multi-time champions. It really, really helped bring Bret to the forefront, and just great matches.
Really great matches. And speaking of really great matches, you and I have had the pleasure and honor of seeing this tag team in action.
We did.
Downtown Detroit, Little Caesars Arena, Hell in a Cell, the first match of the night. It stole the show. I didn't even care about the rest of the matches. It was the first match, Kris. First match. And it killed everything on the rest of the show. I didn't even care about Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. I didn't even care about that because this match stole the show. Exactly. That was a match, Kris. Yes. It was a match. I fell asleep during it.
You're right.
But this tag team, I'm gonna name just two things that they did great. They changed the gimmick.
They did
dramatically, and they were part of the biggest rap battle in WWE history.
Yes, dude.
The funniest rap battle and the biggest one of all time. The Usos. The Usos.
The Usos. Usos for sure. Definitely changed their gimmick dramatically because they needed it.
Yes, they did.
They did. But yeah, reliable for sure, durable for sure. Without question, the best rap battle of anything WWE has ever done, and it's not even close. And that's always very, very solid in the ring. Very, very, very solid. Very solid.
They they have good camera work, good mic work. Remember those SmackDown segments when they were walking in towards the ring and they were like, taunting their opponent before they came to the ring? That was probably the best thing SmackDown has ever done the past 5 years. Besides change their stage.
I mean, they could just bring. I mean, if they brought the fist back with the current set, then I'll be satisfied. That's all they need to do. That's all they need to do.
All I gotta do is bring the fist. Bring the fist back, and we'll be good.
Bring it back, Vince. Please. Please.
Well, speaking of great rivalries, the Usos had a great rivalry with the New Day.
You know what? There's so many things that could be said about this group, but the genesis for how everyone came together is pretty genius. Because if you remember at the time when they first formed, Kofi they didn't have anything creative for him. Biggie had just got done with the whole Dolph Ziggler bodyguard gimmick. They didn't have anything to do with him, and Xavier Woods was just there. He was like, "Hey, did y'all forget about me?" So,
what about me? What about me?
So, everybody coming together. I honestly believe they almost got it right, but if this was part of fantasy booking, when the New Day had their first gimmick of like the whole James Brown, gospel gimmick or what have you, but we already know what Vince was thinking when that happened, but we ain't gonna say anything about that. But anyways,
yeah, we're not gonna.
If only they had Reverend Devon to be the fourth man. Oh my God, that
would have been great. Please call my name.
Oh, he's coming. Can you imagine those? Can you imagine segments with the New Day talking in the ring and Reverend Devon has like the Reverend Devon the building fund. And he got the offering basket all around the office. It writes itself. It writes itself. But honestly, the New Day, at times when I thought that they have gone boring, they didn't. And
they never did get boring.
They never did. And all that. And but the thing that they've been together now for over 6 years. A long time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not ready for a New Day breakup. I ain't ready for that one. I don't think we're gonna be ready for that one, man. I don't think we're gonna be ready because
we're not ready.
We not, but we know it's gonna happen.
I might cry. I might cry.
Right.
And speaking of breakups, we're gonna talk about the Rockers.
For any promotion who wants to know, how do you establish a main, like a star from a tag team? This is Tag Team Breakups 101.
Yes.
101. If you just go back to Piper's Pit, which once again you can find on the network for only $9.99. Once again, $9.99. I just want to make sure everybody's getting this. With that classic segment of like Shawn Michaels, ramming Barney Jannetty to the plate glass window of Piper's Pit, and like tearing out the magazine.
No, Chris. Marty tried to jump out the window.
Oh wait, he didn't.
Remember?
Oh, God bless Bobby Heenan. God bless
Bobby Heenan was the best commentator. He tried to jump out the window to escape. I'm like, wait a minute, he was thrown through the window, Bobby. Come on now. Hilarious. Best heel commentator of all time.
Yeah, but like it's the blueprint for Tag Team Breakups 101. The blueprint.
They had some really good matches.
Yeah, they did.
Well, speaking of really good matches, I wouldn't say these are really good matches because when they were a tag team, they were kind of like old and trying to just bring some comedy to the show. That's what pretty much Raw was when they were on a tag team. We're gonna talk about D-Generation X.
Honestly, you have to be you have to really know WWE know this. Like, DX never won a tag team championship until like TLC 2009.
Right.
So you mean to tell me that from 1997 to we ain't gonna get into all that. But basically, it's of course it's entertaining. Obviously, you have two of the greatest of all time. But it just feels, for me, that WWE likes to do a spam of like DX breakup, DX get back together, DX breaks up, DX get back together. It feels that way. They just like, we need more ratings. Wait, we need to make a feud.
Right.
Just saying.
Speaking of great feuds, we had Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys, but we never talked about the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys have been tearing up every wrestling promotion they have been a part of. They have, I don't know, I forgot how many tag teams championships that they have, but they have a lot.
I'm going to say if it's not 30, it's pretty darn close. Because you consider, and I'm just going to make sure I get this right, you consider the ECW, the WCW, the TNA, the WWE tag team championships, the IWGP tag team championships. They've won in every single major wrestling promotion that there is out there. And I'm not going to say the NWA because even though they've just had a recent renaissance in the last few years, that's a whole nother story. But if we're talking about influence, like Come on, like, and all that.
Right.
But tell me, as a child, if a child as a wrestling fan, that at one point you did not say, Devon, get the tables.
Get the tables.
Table.
I for sure said it.
Exactly. Oh, my brother, testify.
Goodness gracious.
One of my favorites.
Well, you and I can actually testify this group was much dominant back in their era, early 90s, possibly late 2000s, not like early 2000s, late 90s, but the Legion of Doom.
You know, I would go as far as to say that the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, LOD 2000, whatever name you want to call them, not only are they a legendary WWE tag team, I would go so far as to say they are the single greatest tag team in the history of professional wrestling, period, undisputed, not even a debate. The TNA, excuse me, I'm getting my ears mixed up. The NWA, the WCW, WWE tag, they single-handedly revolutionized tag team wrestling because while you had a lot of groups out here, you know, very cut and dry, very like a stale bag of potato chips like off of Sisma in Detroit. Here comes LOD, and they're like, you know what? We ain't gonna do all that. We ain't gonna do all that. You know what? Let's get some face paint. Let's get some big muscles or what have you. And Lord, let's get spikes. Let's get spikes on there. If anybody wants to see how you build a monster heel tag team, that could be easily fixed. Again, I'm just giving so many. I feel like Teddy Long tonight because I'm just keep giving. Like I'm promoting it. I'm promoting it big time. For $9.99, you can go on the WWE Network and watch. I can't remember the actual episode, but watch the episode of NWA when the Legion of Boom took one of the spikes off of their shoulder pads and tried to poke Dusty Rhodes' eye out of his socket. If you can watch that and not cringe a little bit, that's what's going on. And also, when you include one of the greatest tag team managers period, who doesn't get as much credit he deserves, Precious Paul Ellering.
Ellering. Paul Ellering was pretty nice.
He had the shades, he had the Wall Street Journal in the hand, everything.
That's pretty good. That's true.
Everything.
Yeah, they were pretty dominant in their day. Now let's talk about domination in the 2000s. We're talking about they had every title in WWE at the time. Yes. I would call them a faction, but they also had tag championships in the early 2000s. So we're going to talk about Evolution.
I would go as far as to say that, I know that everybody, says that, DS is the greatest faction or they say the Shield is the greatest faction. But for me, my criteria for a great faction is everybody in the group goes off and they have great singles careers. Everybody. Now, obviously, Ric Flair, he already had his career. You had the past of Ric Flair, the present in Triple H, and the future with Orton and Batista. And at one point, right, Batista and Ric Flair being tag team champions, I think it was Armageddon 2003 that they won in tag team turmoil. I know because I recorded that pay-per-view on a VHS back then. Yes, I'm an OG like that. But still, you gotta have all the championships if you're in a faction at some point. You have to. I don't care if it's for a night or 4 months. That scene of everybody holding the championships at the stage, come on. Classic. Right.
And speaking of everybody holding a title at the same time, we're gonna take it to NXT, the Undisputed Era.
I believe
you have Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. Probably the best fact in NXT history.
And it's not even close.
Right. Nobody's close. Not even the Wyatt family comes close.
Not even the Wyatt family, not even Sanity. It's not even close.
No, I forgot Sanity this whole time.
Exactly, but it's not even close. The Undisputed Era, with Fish and O'Reilly, whether you know them from the work at NXT, whether you know their work from Ring of Honor or other indie promotions or what have you. I mean, they're peanut butter and jelly. They are Tom and Jerry. They are macaroni with the cheese, what have you. They just work so well. They just work so. They're like this.
Even all of the singles match, they're pretty much good.
Exactly.
Without each other.
Exactly. I mean, just great all year round or what have you. Whether you want to cheer them or boo them, it probably doesn't matter, because if you're a fan of professional wrestling, you can appreciate the greatness of tag team wrestling that Fish and O'Reilly provides. Straight up. And that is Undisputed.
And speaking of Undisputed, these two people start off feuding with a best of 7 competition. And Mick Foley put them together as a tag team, and it worked. Yes, it did, folks. We're going to talk about The Bar. Sheamus and Cesaro.
Sheamus and Cesaro. Dun, 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 dun. Sheamus and Cesaro. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, sir. Okay, The Bar. A very unique backstory where it was literally you guys just beating the hell out of each other, so we're just gonna put y'all two together, and so on and so forth. Now, whether it was supposed to last as long as it did or whether it wasn't, I don't know. But I want to say 5 or 6 championship reigns between Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, you have Sheamus, a former world champion, and why Cesaro has not had a world championship reign yet, I don't know. But we're gonna talk about it.
It's highway robbery. Just highway robbery to the fans.
Oh, it's robbery. It's robbery. But great team, great matches, great character work, and whether they're the best on the mic, it doesn't matter. With a team like that, we got those two type of guys who can just do some good old fashioned, roughhousing. It doesn't matter.
Right. And speaking of old fashioned roughhousing, we're going to talk about the APA. Oh, Bradshaw. Damn. And Ron Simmons.
Oh yes, brother. I will say this. We're going to give brother Ron Simmons his roses while he's still here, because he is still to this day recognized as the very first African American world champion when he became the WCW World Champion back, and I want to say the early 70s or the early 80s, whatever time frame that was. So brother Ron, hats off to you.
Right.
Now
JBL's career, or Bradshaw, if you're talking about APA.
I mean, honestly, good tag team. It's who can literally they can just, it was we're just gonna beat somebody up. We're not gonna do all these flippy stuff. No, we're just gonna beat somebody up. That's it. Whether they were the Acolytes, the APA, whomever you want to call them, what have you, they're just raw. Just raw.
And they'll beat your ass too. Yeah. Especially when they came out on the Raw 1000, beat up Heath Slater. Hilarious. Rest in peace to Heath Slater's career at WWE.
He's got kids, y'all.
Right.
He's got kids. Hard out here, man.
Hilarious.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
Well, speaking of pimps, well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about pimps, but we're going to talk about Eminem. Joey Mercury, John Morrison, and Melina.
Oh yes, a team that doesn't really get his dues as much as far as late ruthless aggression era teams go. They really don't.
Right.
But I think they held the championships 3 times. 2 or 3 times, one of them. But like, great team, great matches. You know, obviously a great manager with Melina. She's doing good right. She's doing great right now in NWA. John Morrison, he's had like a second WWE career as we speak. Joey Merker, I'm not. You know, we're not going to talk about J&J Security. We ain't going to talk about that. We're going to talk.
Yeah, J&J Security. or the match when Jeff Hardy broke Joey Mercury's nose and face.
If anybody wants to watch that match, it is on the WWE Network for how much?
$9.99.
Good.
On the WWE Network.
I think it was Armageddon 2006.
Yeah, I believe so.
With Eminem, the Hardys, I think it was William Regal and Dave Taylor and another team in that match who really doesn't get talked about is the team, and I'm not sure if it was in the plan or not, but I just feel like bringing it up. Is the team of Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Yes,
I think
they've held that title. They held on to the WWE Tag Team titles for a long time. A long time.
Like at least 6 months. At least 6 months. And not only that, but the thing is that they were like 2 small guys. And they were like, if they're like super big guys, okay, we get that. But the fact they were 2 small guys, you know, all the 50 stuff. And they were like James and Cesaro. Like, I didn't know if they just put them together just to try to see if it's gonna work or if they intentionally want to do it. But when it worked, it worked.
They also had Ashley as their manager / valet. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Right. Like, here's the thing. You can't tell me, but like, I'm not gonna lie. I used to get hyped when the entrance music came out and they would like be running to the ring and
they slide under.
They hit that Matrix slide in there. They hit that Call of Duty Modern Warfare slide into the ring. You're like, I wish there could have been like a spot to where like they slid into the ring with so much momentum that they ended up sliding to the other side of the ring.
LOL.
That would have put the title slide to shame. A shame if they would have. And if that was watching, oh my god! Oh no! Oh, that would have put it to shame.
They were such a good tag team, but of course it had to end, you know, because there was a heel group on SmackDown, if you remember, of Deuce and Domino. If you remember, it was like a '50s gig. They came out to the doo-wop.
Here's the one thing I remember. I gotta be careful with my words here. Here's what I do remember. It was a '50s gimmick that they tried to get over in 2006 and 2007 with Cherry on roller skates for whatever reason.
She was fine. I didn't care about them skates.
And they lost the title. And here's the thing: they did nothing with them.
They didn't. They really didn't.
I forgot they were even deployed.
They were in the Battle Royal before WrestleMania 23.
You know what? I'm gonna put this out there, and I may lose a few people with this. I'm gonna say this: the one team that really does not get. We really need to have a conversation as to the balls that Vince McMahon has had with the names of some of these tag teams, like the Dicks. We need to have a conversation about this. Because I'm like,
the what?
Vince, there was an actual WWE tag team called the Dicks from like 2006, 2007. Where, yes. Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
I'm not going to look it up today.
Okay, good.
I'll look it up at the time.
Like I said, I may lose some people with this, but I'm sorry. Just the thought of it makes me stutter.
Well, thinking of thoughts that make you stutter. How about Prime Time? Brooklyn. Stealing championships. It was so bad.
I got 2 words when it comes to Crime Time. And it's not the words of DX. This is gonna be a little controversial, but hey, someone needs to say it. Racial profiling anybody?
Yes.
I mean,
But it was funny. They came up with John
it
Cena. It was hilarious.
And here's the thing: it would have been funny if they would have at least had one tag team title run. They didn't have not one, not one, not one.
Horrible.
Meanwhile, a team like Kane and Murdoch, they get 3 reigns with. You know what? No, you know what? No.
And speaking of tag teams who don't get their, just dues, we're gonna talk about Enzo and Cass. Talk about running into the wall and getting hit. All the momentum in the world, and Enzo just had to mess it up. They were like the faces of the tag team division in NXT. Then they come over to Raw. Sold out arenas will be singing their theme song. And then Enzo just had to mess it up. Then after Enzo messed it up, Big Cass also had to mess it up. And both of them are gone now.
It's a bad thing. It was worse with Cass than Enzo, in my opinion.
It was worse.
Because here's the thing. I don't know if they wanted to do it, but did anybody feel a little bit of early Kevin Nash type vibes when they tried to push Big Cass as a singles guy? But it was.
Hold up. This is why it was like Kevin Nash. Did you see the episode when Big Cass tore his quad? You remember that? I was like, this is so much like Kevin Nash.
So much like it.
Hilarious.
It was, but it's one of those things. I mean, like it's one of ladies and gentlemen. My grandmother always told me, she used to sit me down. She said, "Boy, whatever you do in your life, never get high on your supply. I don't care if it's a little bit. I don't care if it's a lot." And with Enzo, and more so with Enzo, when you get a little bit of that high, and when you get high on your own supply, you get what happens to you.
Right.
And you can't teach that.
Speaking of can't teach that, we got to talk about the world's greatest tag team on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, yes. Well, Thursday Night SmackDown, we're talking about 2000.
Okay, Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm about to put some respect on their name. Put some respect on their names, brother Kenzie. Anyways, the world greatest tag team with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we all need to give Shelton Benjamin his flowers while he's still here, because here's the thing. You got to really know wrestling to know this. When Brock Lesnar went to the University of Minnesota, Shelton Benjamin trained him. They were roommates. That hug at the Royal Rumble, that was not fake. That's real life. They are blood. They are blood, I said.
They also train together. OVW.
That too.
With John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, all of them. They all train together.
That's like a master class of talent. And I think the name was the Minnesota Stretching Crew, as a homage to the Minnesota Wrecking Crew from way back in like the 80s or what have you. But great tag team, great ring work. They did the right thing with them. They put them with Kurt Angle as a part of Team Angle. You got Kurt Angle. He has legitimacy. And for the casual fans, if Kurt Angle approves of this team, maybe I need to approve this team as well. Great tag team. But you could have stayed around a lot longer, past 2005 and 6, what have you, because I think we could have got some great matches with them versus the United Hardys or Eminem or what have you. But sometimes you got to take what you can get. Great tag team for that time.
Right. Another good tag team for the time would be Rated RKO.
Rated RKO.
Randy Orton and Edge.
Oh, yes. The Rated R Superstar. And we're talking Randy Orton before the Viper gimmick and before I'm just going to kill everybody gimmick. Great tag team. great tag team, great matches against DX. It's kind of nice to have a heel tag team to where like you like hates. It's like you don't want to fully hate them, but you kind of like them because they don't take any crap from anybody. So they're like a twinner team, depending on the city and the audience, what have you.
Right.
Great team, great team.
Another great team would be the British Bulldogs.
Oh boy, let's see. It was Davey Boy Smith and was it the Dynamite Kid too?
I believe so.
I think it was the Dynamite Kid. The British Bulldogs, great tag team. They really bring a lot of the European style of wrestling over towards the States for that time frame. Obviously, rest in peace to the British Bulldog, but great tag team, great matches during their day. Definitely a team that should not be forgotten about in the near future.
That's true. Speak about teams who won't be forgotten in the future because they're a tag team right now. John Morrison and The Miz.
They just fit.
They're just good.
Like, they're just good. I do not remember a match with the two of them that has been boring.
Never.
From their first run as a tag team to their set, they're good. They just fit.
Especially what is it? The show they had on ECW, the Dirt Sheet.
The Dirt Sheet.
Hilarious.
Classic. If more WWE tag teams did stuff like that, I would watch the whole pay more attention to tag division a whole lot more.
Yeah, because now it's just it's all right.
It's copy paste. So.
Right. Well, at was it WrestleMania 25 that had the unification match with the Colognes in the pre-show? Yep, you got it. Every time I say pre-show, guys, Kris has to take a drink. Yep, pre-show. Pre-show. Taking another drink. What was it? What was that? Carlito and I forgot the other guy.
It was Epico. No. Primo.
Primo
and Carlito.
And Carlito, man, his career is like, he was trying so hard.
I mean, with Carlito's career, it started off right. I still remember episode. I still remember the episode when Carlito debuted and beat John Cena for the United States Championship. And one of the rare times where that championship was the main event.
Right.
The main event in John Cena's hometown. Do you know how much dust that takes?
Yes.
And this was like a year before the let's go Cena such chant. You're talking the peak. The peak. And you have the guts to do that?
Mm-hmm.
But
he did.
The Colognes is like, I remember them, but it's like, I mean, it just seems like there wasn't enough that they did with them. To me?
There wasn't enough. Nope. Oh, wow. They didn't do enough. And speaking of not doing enough, we're going to talk about the Revival. Now, with NXT, they were probably the best heel tag team of all time with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Those takeovers with them, and sometimes with the Authors of Pain, those triple threat matches were probably the best matches on the card at the time because most of the big stars from NXT went to the main roster. So you had to make single stars out of the tag teams. And Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa made a great tag team with DIY. But their main competition was the Revival.
The Revival, I know that Vince McMahon is not the biggest fan of the NWA, which is why the Revival are probably no longer working in WWE because the Revival are literally the brain busters from the NWA days in the year 2020. No flips, just kicks, roughhousing. We don't care what these guys say. We just gonna do whatever we want to. If you look at the NXT time versus the main roster, it is night and day. It is night and day and stuff. And I wish that Vince would have just gotten behind them, like really got behind them. But he was like, no, 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 we don't want that. No,
We don't want it. Nah.
no, we don't want that. We don't want it.
Right. So now we're gonna talk about, let's see, another NXT tag team or group who went to the main roster and lasted longer than most of the tag teams that came out of NXT. We're gonna talk about the Wyatt family.
The Wyatt family is very interesting. Very interesting because we're just gonna put this out the way. Bray Wyatt should have beaten John Cena at WrestleMania 30. We're just going to get that out the way.
Yes, he should have.
We're just going to get that out the way.
Especially with all the hype. That match could have been as big as like WrestleMania 17. But the hype package, that could have been the match before Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. That could have been like his ass getting handed to him. In considerable fashion. Before all that stuff happened with him and Brock Lesnar.
I mean, yeah, but I think
the hype package alone.
I mean, yeah, but I think the reason why they did it because they figured, hey, you know what, we had John Cena to, I think a couple months before the Mania match. I think that was when he lost to Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber, or was that the year after that?
That was like a few years after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, we're talking 2014. Yeah, so about 20 years after. But anyways, the Wyatt family, the momentum was right there, and they dropped the ball. But to look at where they were, and look at where they're at now, obviously, Luke Harper he's with Brody Lee, he's now with AEW, and to see the Fiend, aka Bray Wyatt, and now Braun Strowman, with both of them being in the field, which should not be happening in the first place. I'm just going to get that out there. It's kind of been a tale of two halves. There were times where I thought that the original faction would reunite, and I think that should have happened. The best time for that to happen would have been at WrestleMania 33, when it was Bray versus Orton versus AJ Styles, who should have been in that match, by the way, and not against Shane McMahon, even though it was a hell of a match for an opener. But I would have had that to be the match, and you have, Harper and Rowan come down, they beat everybody up. The original faction was formed right there, and then you bring in Braun Strowman, and you just have them to say, we're going to kill everybody for years to come, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. The end.
Right. Yeah, well, talking about two halves, we're going to talk about a female team, who literally cut the women's championship in half to split between the two. Team Lay Cool. The good old days of women's wrestling. Sarcasm, folks.
The biggest thing that I wish that they didn't do with Lay Cool, because everything else was perfect. And it's kind of cringeworthy now. Like, knowing what I know now, it's kind of cringeworthy not even think about it. But if you remember the Friday Night SmackDown episode where they, quote unquote, did like a fat shame promo on Mickie James, and they held her down, like they do the cake in her face, and the punch or the juice on her. You can't do that today.
You can't. Well, you could. They did. They did it with Nia Jax.
And that was to that. Well, that he did, but I mean, to go that far. That's what I mean by it.
Oh yeah. That was just to build, build up, stuff for the Mania match or whatever pay-per-view it was.
It was the Royal Rumble match, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
It was
It was the last match before the Royal Rumble, and it lasted 30 damn seconds.
30 seconds. Goodness gracious.
And then they had all the divas who were faced at the time come down, and they like put Late Cool do like a cake or what have you. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a filler match before the Rumble. We're just gonna put that out there, y'all. We're just gonna put that
right. Well, speaking of teams that have been together for, it feels like 30 seconds. Probably the most comical team of all time. We gotta talk about Booker T and Goldust. We gotta talk about Booker T and Goldust. Just the segments alone, not even the fights. We'll talk about the backstage segments, the little interview segments. When they were in 7-Eleven, Kris, with the hot dog, his wiener. Come on, man. Hilarious.
You know, we really need to. I know there's been a lot of like odd couple tag teams, you know, throughout WWE's history, but Booker and Goldust. Here's the thing. I remember them more so for the promos than the match. I can't tell you not one match they had.
Exactly.
I can tell you the promos though.
We just remember all the promos and all the little snippets they had before the match.
Hilarious.
Now we're gonna talk about a team that we know about the matches, but we forget about the promos. We're talking about Los Guerreros.
Well, we're just
Chavo and Eddie.
We're just gonna put this out there. Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. You know, rest in peace to Eddie.
Yes, rest in peace.
You know, looking down on us, you know, from the sky, you know, even like Rasa all the way up there to the heavens, Eddie. Los Guerreros, a part of SmackDown 6, you know, from like Virus Day 2002 to when they broke up in late 2003. It was a genuine, heartfelt breakup. It was very genuine.
Yes.
It was like, wow, like they won the tag team titles. Like, you know, I lie, I cheat, I steal. And you can't tell me not once that if you were a young wrestling fan, that you didn't try to like do like the fake injury like Eddie or Chavo did it and stuff. You can't tell me you didn't try to do that at least not once. Like,
right.
Oh, like, he's like, I'm hurt.
Right.
I'm hurt.
I'm hot. Right.
Great.
Speaking of great tag team breakups or near breakups during their tag team run, we're going to talk about one of the best tag teams last decade. WrestleMania, what was it? 29? They fought. Team Hell No. Kane and Daniel Bryan.
You
what
know,
was it, like 8 months to their big climax?
You know,
it was probably the best tag team ever. The therapy sessions, come on, man.
The sessions were, and I know that WWE has gone stale with like creative stuff, but the segments with Dr. Show have legitimately made me crack up. They were.
I'm cracking about it. Just thinking about it.
Just thinking about it makes me just want to hop on another. Oh wait, we haven't said this in a while. It's only $9.99. Once again, it's $9.99 for anybody who wants to see those segments. They're on the
$9.99 on the WWE network, folks.
Yes. They're just, those segments were hilarious. It just felt like it just went like, and not like a boom like that. That's how it feels to me. How they disbanded, but then they got back together, and then it was like, oh, okay.
Then they got back. Then they faded away. I'm the tag team champion. No, I'm the tag team champion. I'm the tag team champion. So like, bro, there has to be two champions. Like, come on now.
Like, here's the thing. Like, they did that angle. Now, obviously, you know, if for those who remember, you know, they did I feel like it was kind of a second attempt at what they did with Kane and X-Pac as a team. Yeah. And the Attitude Era for a short time. Now, obviously, I'm not saying X-Pac is nearly has as much crowd support as Daniel Bryan. I'm not saying that, but if you look at those segments and you look at the Team Hell No segments, they're the dynamics. Pretty similar.
It's pretty similar. We are speaking of similar dynamics. We're going to talk about two people who've been synonymous. Excuse me, everybody. Synonymous with the big man tag teams. We're going to talk about The Undertaker and Kane, the brothers of destruction.
I've been using this. This probably sounds like a broken record at this point, but I'm going to say it again. This is really one of the best cases of long-term storytelling for tag teams done right.
Yes.
Everything leading to the first match at WrestleMania 14. Pretty damn good. Almost a year of storytelling. And then you get done with that. And then you move it to the Brothers of Destruction. I still remember the I still remember the episode of Raw when, and this is biased because it was in Detroit at Joe Louis Arena, when Austin came in on the Zamboni and like beat up Mr. McMahon, and then Kenny the Undertaker were right there, and Vince, he like flipped him off, and then they broke his leg right there and stuff, and then Dan was like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and then obviously you have the tag team of the Brothers of Destruction, the feud with the two-man power trip, which we need to talk about, by the way. We need to talk about the two-man power trip, were pretty damn good. They were good. Great tag team throughout the late 90s, part of the 2000s, as like special occasions, and even right now as far as special occasions. It's a nostalgia fest. Done right.
Right. Interesting. We're going to talk about Randy Orton's second faction that he was part of, the tag team Legacy.
The potential was right there.
Great potential. Right, you had Ted DiBiase, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. Multi-generation superstars. All right there on a platter for Vince McMahon. But they had to mess it up at WrestleMania 26.
I mean, I get that they did it, but like it's just it was so much potential right there. Granted, I don't think Cody Rhodes will, I think, have the Intercontinental Championship for 4 or 5 times. About 4 or 5 times. After the Legacy breakup, and Ted DiBiase even had it a couple of times himself, but it just felt like there was so much left for them to do. So much.
Especially in the next year, 2011, which was abysmal.
Yes, if they had kept that group for one more year, just one,
you'd have a secondary storyline.
So many things could potentially change, because like Cody Rhodes, hey, maybe he goes off, maybe he becomes a face, or maybe or whatever the case they want to, or whatever they want to do with it. But it was one of those things to where they had great potential but bad booking.
Right.
Great potential but bad booking.
Right. So now we're going to talk about, we've been talking about the best WWE tag teams so far. Now we're going to close the show. We're talking about a tag team that's dear to me and Christopher Bird's heart. Kris and Kris. We're both African Americans. And one of the best African American tag teams of all time, in which WWE bought WCW. And WCW had this great tag team. Stevie Ray, Booker T, Harlem Heat. Yes, folks, we're going to talk about Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat is, on my Mount Rushmore of tag teams. The Road Warriors is on that list.
Yep.
But a close second is Harlem Heat. Harlem Heat, I think they had like 11 tag team championship reigns. 10 or 11, and like Stevie Ray and Booker T, and no, that was for the culture, man. Come on, man. And now can you dig it, sucker? And stuff like Harlem Heat. You had the powerhouse Stevie Ray, you had the speed with Booker T back then and stuff, and like they just, and now that, but being real life brothers, they were trendsetters. They're big time trendsetters. You know, like shoot, I think Booker T being a two-time Hall of Famer. You know, obviously for his solo career, and even with Harlem Heat. And by the way, and we're talking top 10 or even top 5 wrestlers of all time, just on resume. Booker T's top 5.
Batista is down. Batista is down. Batista just got knocked flat the hell out. One of the worst commentators starting off, but he became the best. He became the best as time went on. It was great. It was great on SmackDown.
That was legitimate.
However, that was bad, Kris. It was hilarious. It was hilarious, but it was bad.
It was entertainment. It was supposed to be great.
I was like, to get the mic away from Booker T.
I would have come to
Batista is down. Batista is down. Batista is down.
Oh no.
Batista is down. I was like, who? Who's down?
Right. You know, there's one even worse. If you go watch, I said it must be Groundhog Day, because on the WWE Network, ladies and gentlemen, it's only $9.99 a month.
$9.99, folks, on the WWE Network.
Go watch No Way Out 2003. At the very end of the match, after The Undertaker and The Big Show, and there's a moment when the H Train, not Lord Tensai, ladies and gentlemen, not Lord Tensai, he comes down to the ring and he gives the Undertaker the Derailer, as that was the finishing move name, and Michael Cole was like, Derailer, and I'm like, bro, no. So I think about that. And I think about Booker T. And Booker T was on free TV. It was on UPN, for goodness sakes, back then. Like, come on.
I miss those days.
I do too. Now, I'm going to mention one team who I feel, 2 teams actually, if I may, who I believe had, one team who, obviously, we didn't even talk about the New Age Outlaws. We didn't even talk about them.
We did. We'll talk about that on another show, though.
Okay, yeah, we do. But I'm going to say this. The 2-man power trip with Stone Cold and Triple H were the biggest potential for any tag team post 2001. If so many things changes had Triple H not torn his quadricep, but that's another story.
He still finished the match.
Yeah, he still finished the match too, and it's arguably one of the top 5 Raw matches of all time by just the story leading into it. But it was kind of good. It was kind of great because, I think Triple H was the Intercontinental Champion, Austin was the WWF Champion, and both they had all the championships, which means they had all the power. And Vince too. Come on, man. Come on. But I just want to
they were a pretty good tag team.
I want to give that team credit because, and the last thing I'm going to mention about this is that go watch on YouTube when the 2-man power trip destroyed Kane and the Undertaker on Raw.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That's a beatdown.
It was pretty gruesome.
That's like oh no, they like killed them. Batista is down. Batista is down.
All right, folks.
I just had to get that off the way.
All right, folks, that's been another episode of Kris and Kris, where we were talking about the best WWE tag teams. Our next episode will be next week. We're going to be talking about the worst WrestleMania matches of all time.
Oh,
so Kris, you might have to bring a lot of water because there's a lot of pre-show matches that we're going to talk about.
I may have to buy a gallon of water just for that show alone.
Right.
Just for that,
just for that show alone.
Because are there so many?
So a lot of matches we're going to cover next time. So we're going to do that next time. This has been Kris and Kris, where we talk about sports and WWE. So long till next time.